here we go. So I wanted to welcome everyone to the Bottom Line Live. Tonight, we're going to talk about Mint.com. These are questions I get asked about a lot. How does Mint.com work? What type of software do you use for personal bookkeeping? All these things, which of course the answer is Mint.com. So I'm going to show you guys, we're going to screen share. I'm going to show you all the cool things that Mint.com can do. I made a little demo account, and then if anybody has any questions, you can type them into the Zoom, or you can type them into the Facebook Live if you're watching live. And okay, let me share this to the Wealth Dynamics group. And I also did just take a look newly at a lot of what Jerry says to do about the personal financial purge and what he shows in Mint.com. Mint.com did change recently, so that's why some of you might be running into questions on why things don't totally match. And that's why, but we're going to kind of show you how to use it in the way that he wants you guys to be using it as well, for everyone who is coming from Wealth Dynamics and wants to see how to use Mint.com for the personal finance purge. Okay, good. Let me just share this. Bottom Line Live. Okay, perfect. Wow, we got a lot of people. This is great, guys. Lots of questions for Mint.com. Again, there's no stupid questions, so if you have any question, type it in. I might ask you to say it out loud for everyone, but this webinar is only half an hour, so I talk fast a lot. Okay, good. So I'm going to just start. If anybody has any questions or any topics just off the top of their head that they want me to bring up, go ahead and type it in. Otherwise, I'm just going to start kind of showing you guys Mint.com. All right, here we go. Share screen. Okay, so this is Mint.com. It looks a little different than maybe you have seen it as before. Let's see. So this is the overview page. I just want to say that I really, really like Mint.com because it does so many things. Okay, hang on. I have a question, I think. Let's see, how do I go back? Dana, did you have a question? You raised your hand. I don't know what that means. I think that means you have a question. Why don't you type it in the chat? Okay, I'm going to go back to Mint. Okay, good. So this is the overview page. It has everything. This is like a demo company that I made, so there's not a lot of information in here, which is fine. I'll just kind of show you guys what's in here. Now, of course, there's advertising because this is a totally free software, which is really nice. QuickBooks Online, for instance, which is also made by Intuit, costs a chunk of money. We use it for businesses. This is 100% for personal transactions. You can use it for business if you wanted to, but it's not set up for that. Okay. Dana, okay, good. Here's your question. I was wondering, do I have to manually go into each bill that is due and mark each one paid monthly? I have not been doing this. I have my bill set up recurring monthly. We can go into that. I haven't looked super closely at their bills thing, so we can kind of test that out and see. I know how to set it up, but we'll take a look. I'll see if I can answer that for you. Okay. So on their overview page, just to kind of go over it, if you had bills here, this is where they would show up. This is the different, bank accounts and credit cards. The overview here, you can add more accounts, and you should add all of your accounts, because this will work best. All of your personal accounts. If you own a business, don't add your business accounts into here. Use QuickBooks Online for that. But all of your personal accounts, including your investment accounts, your loan accounts, properties that you own, house, car, investments, gold, silver, sacred account, all of that you should put in here. You can also create goals You can create a goal to pay off debt. You can create a savings goal. I use this, to pay off debt. I liked it. It was really helpful. It will show you different charts. It will show you your credit score. It will show you trends. It will show you budgets. Now, we've gone over this before, but what's the difference between a budget and a financial plan? So your budget, you're just making a goal, and then at the end, you're seeing whether you hit it or not. So if you're doing the personal financial purge, then Jerry has you create kind of a plan, and then you use the budget in here to check against it and really nail down your financial plan to make sure it fits with exactly what you thought it was. So that's that. And this is all adjustable. If you wanted to see less things on here, you can, change it in the settings. All right. So here's the transactions. Now let me make this bigger and see if that's actually helpful too. So this is, again, this just dummy account that I made. And so there's nothing useful on here really. There's a few transactions, a few payments, but this is, I wanted to show you guys how to add transactions. And again, mint.com has updated a little bit from, I've been using it for probably 15 years. So it looks a little different than it did before. They changed it kind of recently. So even if you've been using it, this might look different than what you're used to. So let's say you wanted to add a transaction. Now, generally, you wouldn't need to add a transaction because you're connecting all of your accounts and they'll show up and all you have to do is categorize it. But since I don't have a lot of, accounts that I connected to it, we're going to just do this manually. So you would put in the date. Let's say it was yesterday. Let's say you paid a mortgage bill. I'm in Florida, so we can use a Florida one. What is it like? I think it's City of Clearwater. Clearwater. So that would be the name. And here's where you're going to put categories in. So you go, okay, well, this is a bill and utility. And now it shows you the subcategories that it already has set. And you go, okay, this is a utilities bill. And what was the amount? You can either use this thing, which seems very slow and useless to me, or you can just go, it was $123.23. And what was it, cash, check, or pending? I don't know. Let's say it's check. And you can say what accounts. Let's say you said it came from this account. Okay, let's do cash. Okay, no, let's do check. Then you say it came from this account. I don't know why a credit card would have a check, but we're pretending. And then it's got this other really cool feature for tags. So it gives you a few tags that it created, but you can also manage tags and add more tags. So if you wanted to add a tag that was, I don't know, what would be another tag? Let's say you wanted to have a tag for everything that you spent having to do with your kids so that you could run a report and just see what you spent on your kids. So you could literally make a tag called kids. Obviously, utilities has nothing to do with kids relatively, but this is how you make a tag. Then you click this and now you have this tag and you can use it. Okay, so now what if you want to use a different thing? What if it's not a utility? What if it's some other random thing that's not on the list and you wanted to make your own category? Or what if you're using Jerry's financial purge and he has specific categories he wants you to use and somehow they're not on here? So you're going to go here into manage categories and you're basically going to, let's say you say it was bills and utilities. You're going to just click in there and then you're going to click add subcategories. So the subcategory, they have home phone, internet, mobile phone, television, utilities. Okay, what if you wanted it to be, what if you wanted to put your sacred account as a bill here? Not saying this is where it would go, but we're just making an additional one. So now you save it and now it's in here. So now when you go back to your categories here, And where was this transaction that we made? Maybe I didn't save it. I don't know. But let's just look at this one. So you go into here and you want to use a different category. So you go, okay, you could probably even type it. You could probably start typing. There you go. And it shows up because you made it. So this is how you can categorize everything. This is the main thing you're going to be doing because it will try to guess what it was for. Like if you look in here, it guesses. It goes, okay, these are credit card payments. Let's see. This is Forever 21 is clothing. So it's guessing, but you can always edit it and you can say, no, that wasn't clothing. That was whatever, something else you could buy from Forever 21. That was vacation stuff that I needed. So I'm going to put that in my vacation budget. You know what I mean? So you can edit these always, but it's always going to try to guess. And then the cool thing about this too is that you can always search. My Zoom settings are getting in my way here. Come on, move out of here, a little black box. Okay, so let's say you wanted to see what have I paid the IRS. You can type it in the search box and go to description IRS, and this account that obviously this was not sacred account. We put this back to taxes, but I was showing you guys an example. So if you're paying the IRS, you can pay, is it federal, local, property tax, sales tax, state tax? They have a lot of good categories. You might not even have to add very much, but we're going to say, okay, it was federal tax. And let's say you had 10 of them, you would find them here. And let's say you wanted to start making rules, you could do that, or you wanted to export the transactions into a spreadsheet to look at it better, you could do that. Let's say you wanted to see, sometimes there's duplicate transactions, like, you connected your credit card. No, let me give you a realistic example. Your PayPal, the PayPal transaction will show up on the PayPal account and it'll show up on your bank account. So, and you can teach mint.com that it's a duplicate transaction. It doesn't need to show it twice. But let's say you wanted to see the duplicate transactions, you could do it here. Let's say you wanted to filter by a tag. You could go, there's going to be nothing in here, but let's say you go, okay, I wanted to see everything that I tagged is reimbursable. Apply. Now there's nothing in here, but now it's showing you what's IRS and reimbursable. So you're like, no, I just want to see what's tagged as reimbursable. It'll show you the whole list, and then you can export it into a spreadsheet if you wanted to, right? So it's really, really useful. You can go by tags, you can go by categories, you can go by dates. You can also go by uncategorized and just, let's say, can we do no tag? Yeah, well, you apply and then you go no tag. And this will show you everything that you haven't categorized yet or is marked as uncategorized. So this is like, at least for me, where I spend most of my time in mint.com is in here, kind of figuring out what everything is. All right. So let me know real quick if anybody has any questions in that area before I move on to the next spot. Let me check my. Hi, Lexi. Okay, we've got viewers on Facebook Live. We've got viewers on Zoom. Okay, so I don't have any questions so far. That was kind of the biggest, most common questions that I get asked is how to use mint.com, how to categorize, how to use the tags, especially when it's new and different than even if you've been using it a long time, they recently revamped it so it looks different. Okay. All right, let's go to the next section. Okay, so, and I really like mint.com. It's super clean, easy to use. So if I had, something attached, you can add your credit score here. It'll keep track of it for you for free. Okay, here's the bills. So you can either directly connect a bill, like let's say, your utilities, your online login for your utilities, your phone bill, all of that, you can connect them directly, where they'll show up automatically. or you can add a bill right here. And can I move this? No. So it'll ask you, do you want to connect one of these? No. Add an offline bill. So you go, okay, every month I pay my mother-in-law hush money to not bother me anymore. And I'm going to call that, what do we call it? Daycare? No, I'm just kidding. So you can even make a new category. You know, you have to go back to the other screen in order to do that. So for here, we're going to say it's a loan. She lent me money. Mother-in-laws are nice and they do that. And I'm going to pay her back, and I'm paying her back. She paid for my wedding. I'm paying her back. I'm making this up because I don't have a mother-in-law, and I'm going to pay her back $5,000 a month because I want to get her paid off very fast. And the next one is due on September 1st, and it is every month. You know, if you wanted to pay something every week, you would do that. If it was every 2 months, you know, it's got a lot of options. Not every option in the world, but a lot of options. So we're going to do this one monthly, and then it saves. Now this is going to recur. So every time you look at your bills, it's all going to show up. I added a few other bills. So you've got your bill for your sacred account, you've got your bill for your rent. And I'm honestly not entirely sure because I don't use this feature very much. So if you made a payment, does it connect automatically, or do you have to mark them? It's possible. Oops, what did I do? I clicked on privacy policy. That's not what we want. It's possible that you have to mark it as paid. And then you say how much you paid if it was a different amount, right? If it was the same amount, you'd put that in there. Let me see. Let's take a look at if we can put a transaction towards a bill. So let's see here. So you put a transaction. Let's say you're going to put mother. I would put her name, but you know, the bill was called mother-in-law, but let's say it's Sally Sue. And the category is we said it was a loan, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like they have it set up where you can connect it this way. I'm going to look more into it. But it doesn't look like you can, like I know in QuickBooks, you can connect a payment directly to a bill. It doesn't look like they let you do that here. So I hadn't tried that before, but now we tried it. We tried it live and it didn't seem to work. And if you then went and showed the bill paid, maybe it would be confusing. So I'm not sure. I'm going to look into it a little bit more because it's a really good point. All right. So here's the next area after bills. You've got your budgets. Now this is going to be based off of what they categorized so far. So you can make your budget however you want it to be. This is just what they defaulted to. And they've got other spending. Oh, okay. So federal, the one I made for taxes. Okay. Also on here, we'll show your income budgets and any goals that you had. Now, again, these are really great goals. I like them. So let's say you're saving. I mean, I know, you know, we all pretty much have sacred accounts here. Oh, I have a question. Oh, you can't see my screen? Let's see, I can try again. It says I'm sharing. Let me go again. Can you see my screen now? Just someone let me know in the chat. There should. I am having a storm here though, so who knows? Okay, great. people can see it. If you can't see it, then you can watch the replay because I think it's working. Okay, but I am in Florida, so there is a storm outside, as per usual for a summer evening. All right, so I think we all have sacred accounts, but if you didn't have a sacred account and you were, had other savings account, I have other savings account as well. So let's say I'm saving for a trip. Oh, I don't have a bank account connected, so it's not going to let me. Well, fine. It's not going to let me do it, but this is how you would do it. And you just set up your goals in here. It's really fun. Then you can kind of see where you are. Okay, this is showing you trends, which I don't have any trends yet because nothing much happening because I just started it. This is where you would connect your investments. Potentially you can connect your sacred account. If not, you can manually enter it in. If you have any gold and silver, you could enter that in. If you own any property, you could enter that in. Marketplace, this is, where they're advertising because it's a free service. So they're always advertising, and, if something looks useful in here, then go for it. Otherwise, you can just ignore it. And again, they're advertising TurboTax. So if you need help on your personal taxes and you're not using, you don't have a CPA already and you need help, TurboTax is there. Okay, and then this is the settings. So what's great about this is that it's easy. It's the thing I like about this is it's pretty user friendly. It's not the most sophisticated software in the world. If I, again, doing any business bookkeeping, I wouldn't ever use mint.com. I would only use QuickBooks Online. But for a free software, this has a lot of functionality for personal bookkeeping. I've been using it for years for my personal books to track if I do have any things that are tax related that I need to add to my taxes, if I, how much I spent on certain categories that aren't related to my business, but I need the information for taxes. I haven't used it personally for budgeting much just because I only pay myself enough money to pay my bills. So that's all I do. Except for, when I go to Forever 21. Okay, good. So on the settings, so this is going to be like your different accounts that you connected. This is your bills that you basically, from here you can delete them. You can add another bill. This is any property that you entered, which I did not, but you could put in cash, debt, real estate, vehicle, other things like artwork, fine china, collectibles, gold, and more. So I've seen people make real complicated spreadsheets and all kinds of things, and you can just do it in here and it tracks it for free. And it's got pretty little, pictures that go with it. So it's useful. You could hide certain accounts if you wanted to. You could hide certain tags if you wanted to. You could hide bills if you wanted to. I don't know what the purpose of that is for. You could turn off notifications if it's annoying you because you're getting too many notifications or you're getting too many emails. And this is, you don't have to fill this out, but I don't know, I guess it will tailor advertising. So if you fill this out, it could be useful. But that's the basic overview of mint.com. Again, the main questions I've been asked is how to categorize and how to use the tags. So that's what I wanted to show. Okay, so we have a question. All the upkeep. What does Mint offer for analysis or decision making? It seems like a lot of work for little gain over a simple spreadsheet each month end. Okay, yeah, I mean, this isn't super sophisticated software. If you wanted to just make a spreadsheet, you can. What's nice about this, again, is the overview. It gives you everything you want to see all together with pretty little graphs and this budget. And, you can run kind of, I'm calling it run report because that's what I do in QuickBooks, but this would be more like run a search to get information. You wanted to see how much did I spend on utilities. You can see it. Utilities, you can you can use it as a database, and it's a little bit easier to keep track of everything than it is with just a spreadsheet. So, but no one's saying that you have to use it if you don't want to. This is just me showing you. A lot of people use it. I like it a lot for personal, and that's what's nice about it. It seems like a lot of work for little gain. So a lot of people want to track their personal finances for budgeting purposes. For instance, if you want to know every month, and for financial planning purposes, you want to spend less than you make. So you want to be able to, you know, budget specifically everything, then this would be really useful for that. If you're not doing that, if you're saying, okay, I get, you know, a monthly salary of $10,000 or whatever that is for you, and that's all I can spend, and I'm always in my budget, and I'm not in debt, and I have no financial problems, and I don't need to see anything written and look at it, fine. Or if you're like an Excel whiz and it's easier for you to do it in Excel, then do that. But this is really helpful when you're trying to keep under budget, when you want to know what you're spending, when you want to know what is useful for taxes and what is not. So I find a lot of use for this. I don't use it all the time for every account, but I have, like I said, used it for 15 years, and it's useful and it's free. So, you know, you've got options. You can use Excel, you can use mint.com, whatever you want to do. Okay, good. Can you export the budget or totals for each category at the end of the month? Let's see. So here's the budget. Can you export it? It doesn't actually look like you can export it. Does have some limited functionality for sure. Can you can copy and paste it into something? So, you know, copy, paste into a spreadsheet. But yeah, that's, you know what, how I would use this budget and how Jerry talks about using this budget is basically you've got a spreadsheet with your financial plan, and then you use this as a budget and you compare it against, so you can update your spreadsheet. If your financial plan, you forgot that you actually spend $1,000 every month because you owe your mother-in-law, now you can add that to your financial plan. So you can really get an accurate picture. But it doesn't look like you can export this from what I can tell. But it is really easy to read, and it's really pretty. So that's what I have on that. Let's see, do we have any more questions? I don't see any more questions. Let me look at my Facebook, see if we have any questions there. Hello, Seaburn. Hello, Lexi. Oh, good. I'm glad you can see my screen. I don't have any questions in QuickBooks. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I own a bookkeeping firm. We don't do usually people's bookkeeping in mint.com. Usually this is for individuals. They're using it themselves. I use my own for myself. So this is really for personal budgeting, for personal finances. I'm not even selling this because we don't, we're just doing bookkeeping and QuickBooks Online. I just get a lot of questions about mint.com, so I wanted to show you guys it. But if you do have any questions, you want a consultation, you want any more help, or you need help on your business bookkeeping, definitely reach out. You can contact me, Maya@solvencynow.com. My website is solvencynow.com. You can message me on Facebook, on Instagram, on solvencynow.com, on Facebook on Maya Weinreb, LinkedIn on Maya Weinreb. I am everywhere, and I am starting to make like TikTok videos with all this stuff in it as well. So you're going to see it. And if there's any specific questions I can help you with, I'll absolutely help you. I want to remind everyone that your 2021 taxes are due any second. So if you haven't done it yet, the S Corp taxes are due September 15. The personal taxes are due, and LLC sole proprietor taxes are due October 15. So if you need your bookkeeping done, it's not done yet, now is the time, because you're about to run out of time, and bookkeepers are getting super busy right now, and your CPAs are yelling and screaming that they want your books. So reach out if you need any help. Mint.com is a great software. It's not super sophisticated. It's free. It does a lot for being free. It doesn't do everything we would like it to do. If you need something more sophisticated, you know, your next step is probably QuickBooks Online. But again, that's mostly set up for companies. You can jerry rig it to work for personal as well, but I really prefer to use mint.com for personal. It has pretty much everything you need, but limited reports, limited functionality. You're not going to get a profit and loss statement off of mint.com. You're just going to get information you can use to help yourself budget that you can use with other tools as well. You're not going to get a balance sheet really. It's just going to give you information. So it's not like bookkeeping software. It's just personal finance software. Good. Well, thank you all so much. I know I talk fast. I know this was very basic information because that is what, yeah, the LLC taxes, if you are taxed as a single member LLC and you're not taxed as an S Corp, it's due October 15th. So hustle, hustle. For the extension, if you already did it in April, then you're good, but the extension. And again, also tax planning. If you're trying to save money on taxes, people come to me all the time. How do I save money on taxes? My P&L shows that I made all this profit and my CPA says I have to pay all these taxes on it. Dun, 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 dun. Tax planning, you got to do that before the end of the year because once the year is over, there's very, very few things that you can do to make your tax bill less. So if you need tax planning, reach out. I can connect you guys up. I have a discount code for Tax Hive and they do tax planning. Good. Again, any questions? I'm here to help. I also offer consultations. And other than that, we do bookkeeping and QuickBooks Online. So thank you all so much for your time. And I will see you guys next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bottom Line Live. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.